Earlier this summer, a massive fire tore through a Phoenix recycling company, generating the largest response in Phoenix fire history. But it also generated a renewed interest in making sure this type of thing doesn't happen again.
Phoenix fire inspectors have spent the past few months inspecting hundreds of some of the most high-risk recycling businesses in the valley. Fox 10's Brian Webb has more tonight.
Last June's massive blaze at Friedman Recycling generated an equally massive response. Wood, tires, and other raw materials burning, sending a high plume of smoke into the sky. It's the largest response in Phoenix fire history and led to a major change in how the city brings businesses like these into compliance.
It's been a little crazy. We had our work cut out for us.
Lisa Lerman is one of only a half dozen Phoenix fire inspectors. She and her team are tasked with inspecting hundreds of recycling businesses across the city.
There really is a large amount, and a lot of these facilities, while they have been in business for many years, a lot of them they're not familiar with fire code. They're not fire code experts. It's our opportunity to come out here to kind of enlighten these people on what fire code is, give them the tools they need to be compliant and make sure that they're running their business in the safest way possible. And your site overall looks really great. You guys are doing a great job keeping things away from the buildings and away from your lot lines.
On this day, inspectors pay a visit to Old Genefune Recycling, a full-service recycling company specializing in brass, copper, and aluminum.
They came out about a month ago to do an inspection and flagged one of our fuel tanks that we immediately remedied.
Chad Olgen is the co-owner.
To us, piles of metal, they're fluid. They move all the time, so we aren't seeing it from a fire standpoint. We're seeing it from an operation and a production standpoint.
He says inspections like these are key to keeping his business and others like it up and running, while also keeping it safe for those who live and work in the nearby neighborhoods.
We work with a neighborhood that's right next to us, and the last thing that we want to do is have a fire.
It affects the neighborhood. It affects everyone that actually sends product to here. So let's say this business is now shut down because of a fire. Well, the company that used to ship product here, now they can't, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of a domino effect.
Following the fire at Friedman's, the city's inspection teams began to identify hundreds of other businesses that pose a fire risk.
We're talking about the scrap yards, the junk yards, the pallet yards, tire shops, and the paper and cardboard manufacturing places.
Brian Scholl is the deputy fire marshal. He says education is the first step in helping these businesses look for potential dangers. Because as Lisa and her team have learned, some recycling companies don't always recognize the hazards of their jobs.
I was at a pallet yard and they had a sawing operation on top of their roof. So we run across some pretty bizarre things.
They say one of the biggest igniters is lithium-ion batteries some businesses don't even know are there.
Due to the heats that we're experiencing in the city of Phoenix, they ignite. Ignites a pile, and then that spreads, and that's how we end up with these multi-alarm fires.
Access is also a major concern. Can crews get into position to fight a potential fire? Can they find a reliable water source near the property? But the team is also looking to identify whether the businesses have defensible space around the property.
Separate the piles. So if we have a fire at one pile, we can actually protect all the piles around it to keep that fire nice and small, and that's our goal.
The reason we look for this is because if there is a fire and a premise is storing combustibles along their lot line, there's a greater chance for those to jump the lot line and go onto their neighbor's property.
This summer's increased fire dangers meant inspectors were given the freedom to issue citations on the spot. Some of them have ended up in court, but many are getting resolved rather quickly.
We have a few people going to court. The nice thing about the citation process is once I issue a citation, there's about a month time between the actual court date. And all the ones that we've given citations so far have come into compliance in that time frame, which is amazing.
Brian Webb, Fox 10 News.
The city estimates there are more than 550 recycling yards in Phoenix that they know about, but it's the ones they don't know about that concerns them as well. But this summer, inspectors were able to identify and inspect all of the facilities that are known and bring them into compliance.